Well, hi y'all, this is Ginger with Ginger Stamp Thrifting. I told y'all in my last thrift video about this cookbook I thrifted. And I told you how disappointed I was. I really love good Mexican food, and I really want to learn to cook it. I've had really good Mexican food. We lived in the Houston, Galveston area, and there are a lot of authentic restaurants there. I've been to Oaxaca a couple of times, and I had some really great food there. And I was so hoping this authentic Indian Mexican recipe book would be the number. And then I got it and I started looking at it. Y'all, this is supposed to be recipes from the people who aren't real well moneyed, real economically stable in the Santa Fe, New Mexico area. I know they couldn't afford saffron. I know they couldn't. Have you bought saffron? It's ridiculous. So anyway, I really was looking through this book for a hominy recipe, and there's a couple. And I'm gonna make this Posole. The author calls it hominy stew. I've never heard it called hominy stew. I think maybe he couldn't communicate with people real well, and he just kind of looked at what they were doing and kind of took a guess on some of these things. But anyway, I've got all the things we need to make this, but I'm not gonna make it like he says to make it. So let me start out with telling you what we have. This recipe is supposed to serve 4. I like leftovers. I'm a leftover girl. I want it to serve 8. That might not be enough for the 3 of us. I don't know. But it says you need a can of hominy number 2.5. I don't know what number 2.5 is, but hominy in my area comes in a 15-ounce can, or it comes in the great big restaurant size, and I thought that was probably a bit much. So I've got 2. Hominy comes yellow and white, and I didn't know which one to get. It didn't specify, so I got one of each. Typically, the yellow will have more of a corn flavor, the white will have a softer flavor. So it should give me kind of an in-between flavor. Water, salt, 2 pounds of pork in shoulder in chunks, or neck bones, or back bones. Let me tell you what I got. I got pork neck bones. They're really inexpensive. I've got, what do I got here? 3.8 pounds, and it was $5.70. And this was not sale price. This was the price. They're $1.20, $1.21 a pound. And you'll see they got some marbling. And these are pretty meaty. Some of them are just kind of bony. And the bony ones I think are usually used for stock. These are really used in this area for soul food cooking, Louisiana type cooking. But I got these, and that's what I'm going to use. Then it called for 3 teaspoons ground chili, or 2 large red pots. If you have shopped in the Mexican food sections, that doesn't tell you anything. A red pod can be this big, and it can be this big because they're dried, or fresh. It doesn't specify here. But I had in my pantry Fiesta Fancy Like chili powder. You really have to watch your chili powder because some of it has all kinds of crazy things in it. This is just chili powder, but some of it will have cornstarch and cumin and all kinds of stuff in it. You want just plain chili powder. Okay, this says 1 teaspoon oregano, ground oregano. Most oregano that you buy today is not ground, it's a dry leaf. But if you are making Mexican food, Mexican oregano is not the same as oregano or Italian oregano. The mainstream grocery stores just call it oregano. Sometimes they say Italian oregano. That's not the same thing as Mexican oregano, although it looks the same. This is Mexican oregano. It's going to have a different flavor profile, and I found this at my local Walmart. Okay, garlic powder. That's pretty, I didn't get it out, but I will. A small onion whole. What, you can eat a whole onion? I'm gonna chop the onion up. I'm not gonna leave a whole onion in there. And 1 teaspoon saffron. Now this is the only place in this entire book where in parentheses he says ossifron. Can y'all see that? Ossifron is not the same thing as saffron. My Walmart did not have ossifron. And I went to a large Mexican grocery store and they did not have ossifron. So what I found was this Sazon Goya con ossifron. And so this has, it has several, it has, okay, it's got MSG in it. If you're an MSG avoider, you don't want to use this. Salt, dehydrated garlic, cumin, yellow, number 5, tricalcium phosphate, annatto, which is for color, Mexican saffron, turmeric for color, and red 40 for color. Because I wanted to go ahead and get this made, I went ahead and got this. I can order ossifron on Amazon, and I do have that in my Amazon cart. Okay, so this says, serve on dry toast with a side of cottage cheese. Really? How many times have you seen cottage cheese on the menu in a Mexican restaurant? I'm not going to say that Mexican folks and Indian folks don't like cottage cheese. I don't know all of them. I know a lot of white folks that don't like cottage cheese. I love it. But that is not the way this was intended to be served, on dry toast. Yuck. This is going to be kind of a soup, kind of a stew or gisa. It's going to be either a caldo. It's probably going to be more a caldo than a sopa. A sopa is a little drier. It's got pasta in it. A caldo has got broth in it. But we'll see. We'll see. So, I called my daughter, who has worked in many Mexican restaurants, and she said, Mom, they serve pozole with tortillas. So in my personal larder, I have flour tortillas, and these are big. I'll show y'all how to heat these. There's lots of ways to heat them, but I'll show you how we like them heated best. Salt, I had salt in my larder. And then I went to the Mexican restaurant, y'all. And I'm gonna turn this down so you can, well, I'll show you what all I got. Because pozole is usually garnished with a cool, crispy thing like cabbage. I didn't want to buy a whole head of cabbage, and I wasn't at the grocery store. I was at the Mexican market, and they didn't have some chopped up coleslaw cabbage. They just had heads of cabbage. But there's lots of things you can garnish it with. So I've got some fresh cilantro. And I've got some radishes. Sliced radishes are real popular on it. And I'll slice these real thin. And then I got some corn tortillas, because I love corn tortillas just as much as I love flour tortillas, and these are a little bit better carbohydrate-wise. They still have a lot of carbohydrates, but they nutrition-wise they're a little better. And then I got this achiote molido. This is a Mexican spice, because I've got another recipe in here I'm going to try, so I'll pick that up. Calabacita squash. I've never made these, but there's a recipe in here for it. It says you can use the actual calabacitas or the yellow squash. So I'll be making this. All right. This is just some green sauce, because we love a good green sauce. Now, there is a Mexican cheese that's real similar. It's curdy, like cottage cheese. It's called queso requesón. And I got this at the market, and this is going to be real crumbly. And it was 14 ounces for like $5.98. Or $5.98 a pound, so it was 14 ounces. All right, this recipe says cook the meat until done. Cook it how? I'm assuming they mean boil it. Well, y'all know that meat is always tastier if it's been seasoned and if it's been seared. So I put my neck bones in this bowl, and I'm gonna doctor them up with a little olive oil. I'm just gonna drizzle a little olive oil on them. And a little salt and pepper. And then I'm gonna stick them in the air fryer on about 400 degrees, 400 or 500, however hot it'll go. And I'm gonna watch it, and I'm gonna turn it until they start to brown and crisp on the outside. So, but before I do that, while I was at the market, I bought me some Mexican bakery pastries, y'all. I've got an empanada, and I've got a little pig cookie, which is usually ginger flavored, and this is a little coconut cookie. And if you've never had authentic Mexican pastries, they're not sweet, they're not goopy, they're more like a slightly sweet bread. So I'm gonna put these on, and while they're going, I'm gonna have me a cup of coffee and a pastry. Here are these pastries. This is coconut with, I'm not sure what kind of a jelly that is. The little glazed pig cookie. And this empanada has, I believe it's pineapple in it. So my crock pot's been simmering for a couple of hours, and now I'm gonna take one package of this. This is, sazon means seasoning. Con azafran, which is the, it's got the azafran, what the man's calling saffron in the book, y'all. So I've got that. You see it's a red powder. I might have to add a little bit more. And I'm gonna add a tablespoon of Mexican oregano, or just a scant tablespoon. So I'm going to stir that in, and then while that's simmering a little bit more to meld the flavors, I'm going to cut up my garnishes. Well, all right, I've sliced up some cilantro, and I've sliced up some radishes, and now I'm going to, I told y'all I'd show you how to heat tortillas if you didn't know how. So hang on just a moment, and we'll get started on that. Okay, I've got a cast iron skillet. I'm heating it up over high heat. You want just a little bit of oil, not a lot, just a smidge. And I'm going to start with my flour tortillas. And these are big flour tortillas, so you see how they have these little brown spots? Well, you just want to exacerbate those little brown spots just a little bit. And to keep them warm, I do have a tortilla warmer, but it's only holds small tortillas, so I've got 2 pie plates. I'm just going to turn one down over the other one to keep them warm. So we'll drop that in there. I don't know if you can hear that, it's starting to sizzle just a smidge. Getting hot enough that I really can't hold my hand on it. So now I'm going to flip it over. And I don't know if you can see, but it's got a little bit of brown showing around the edges. And when you lift it, it's real limber, you see? So I'm going to put it in there. Put another tortilla in here. And do the same thing. You want it to get just hot enough that you can't hold your hand on it for just an instant. flip it over. See, we're getting a little more brown on it, just a little bit. If you put more oil on it and fried it longer, it'd get real crispy and crunchy. So I'm gonna keep working on these, and then when I get ready to do the corn ones, I'll come back and show y'all those. Okay, so now we'll do the corn. Again, just a little bit of oil, not a lot. Pretty hot skillet. These are smaller. These are real small. Turn on the vent. You see, these are real pale. Just it's starting to puff a little bit. Can you see? See, you got just a little bit of color on it. Corn tortillas are a little bit drier than flour tortillas. Sometimes you just need to give them a little extra spritz on this side. And I'm probably the only one eating corn, so that's all I'm going to make. And they're quick enough to come in here and take care of, add a few more if I need to. That pretty color they've got on them. Go ahead and turn the heat off because that pan is plenty hot enough to finish heating them. Right. I've got my requesón cheese. And I'm just gonna cut it real finely. See, it just kind of crumbles. Show y'all up close. See, it's got kind of a crumbly grain, crumbly texture. So it's very creamy, a little nutty, kind of melts in your mouth. Now this is a red Posole. There's green Posole, there's Posole Verde, and there's a white Posole or Posole Blanco. For the life of me, I cannot imagine serving this on dry toast, y'all. If you want a little bit more starch in it, you could put additional hominy in it, or you could make some rice, to put it over some rice. That might be tasty. Well, all right. Here it is. Posole Rojo. I've got some radishes, I've got some of the white cheese, and I've got some cilantro in here. I did add a little more of the sabor just to give it a little bit more flavor. It's not bad. If if I make it again, I'll put a little less water in it, put a little more chili powder in it. Just maybe increase all the spices a little bit because I do like a real spicy food. But it's tasty, y'all. It'll stick to your ribs. Hominy is so great and nutritious. It's more nutritious than regular corn because it's more nutritionally available. So let me show y'all my table I've got laid out here. See, I've got my little corn tortillas. I got some tortilla chips with some of that green sauce I bought. It's not guac, it's a hot green sauce. But there's my my white cheese that the guy called cottage cheese. It's too dry to look like cottage cheese, I think. The cilantro and radishes. Here's some cheddar cheese. There's a bag of tortilla chips, and over on the oven staying warm are the tortillas. So that's it, y'all. Posole rojo. Try it. See if you like it. So I will be making another recipe or two out of this old cookbook that's supposed to be authentic that really isn't real authentic. So y'all watch for those. Well, I pray God's blessings on you and your family. And I hope that you will always bloom where you're planted. This is Ginger with Ginger Snap Thrifting.